Yes, may I request, we have two couples. Any more present? Two couples, or we have two couples, okay.
We have two and a half.
Two and a half.
One is here, but he is in the toilet.
Okay, okay. So before you proceed, okay, can I request you move a little bit closer here? So let's all be comfortable, no? Dito sa harapan po. Sige po kayo. We're a small group, so it will be nice, it's cozy and comfortable. It's quite entertaining. We have music from the other room, so please bear with us. So warning, some of the pictures may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. The family is under attack. This is Abdul Hamid, his twins Aya and Ahmed. They died in the Syrian gas attack, together with his wife and 20 other family members. I think at this stage, he is still in the state of shock, he's still smiling. But if you see the video, when he buried 20 of his families, he's very much devastated. This is Farid and his wife Gada here, and their 4 children. Before, they had a big home with two floors, 4 rooms, and he have a flourishing carpet business in Syria. Now, his family has been displaced by the Syrian war and living in a basement somewhere in Turkey. This is Amar Hamushun, and this is his statement. If you want to eat bread, you have to have blood on your hands. You have to be either a jihadist or be with President Bashar al or anyone else and steal or kill. If you start that, you are finished. That is what life is there now. I can do it. So what he did, he sent his family to be refugees. They were separated for 1 year. And on that day, while his papers were being cleared in the customs, he saw his family across the border. He immediately ran and kissed his son across the chain fence. These are the families now. This is what the families are experiencing in Syria. Families are fleeing from violence. Millions of families are displaced, going to places that they don't have homes, in Lebanon, Jordan, and Iraq. Turkey, 3.6 million. And out of this 3.6 million, out of these millions of families, 48% are children. 48% are children who lost their family, their home, their school, and friends. What will be the future of these children? And what will be the future of their families when they become grown up? Coming from a war-torn family. The family is under attack. We are quite, I could say, we are quite blessed that we are able to sit here comfortable, together with our children, not separated, enjoying the good weather. We are quite blessed. But still, we are under attack. We may not feel the attack like that in Syria, but there are other kinds of attack. Familiar with this? My body, my choice? See how beautifully the devil has crafted something so ugly. Abortion is murder. You kill the child. But they wrap it into what they call as women's health. And now they say, my body, my choice. 42% of yearly deaths all over the world are coming from abortion. It's a worldwide crisis. Divorce. In the US alone, about 50% of marriages ends up in divorce. First marriage lasts up to 8 years. Second marriage up to 7 years. And it goes on. As you remarry, it becomes shorter and shorter. What are the common reasons for divorce? Lack of commitment, argue too much, infidelity, married too young, unrealistic. Here, lack of equality. And now, before we have the concern of LGBT, and then we have the same-sex marriage. And this is the trending news in the Philippines. Are you aware of this, SOGI? Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Expression Bill. Who knows this bill? You know what it's saying? It's saying that at birth, you don't have to give the sexual preference of the child. That it should be blank. And you let the child choose their sexual preference when they grow up. So if a boy is born with a penis, so what do you call that? Who is crazy here? The child or the parent? I know you know the answer. So the family is under attack. And I'm here, John Balgoa, together with my wife and 2 kids, Austin and David. Please stand up to give the talk on the Christian family. Me and my wife, I arrived here in Bangkok 2005, and we graduated in the SFC Singles for Christ CLP in 2006. We got married in 2010 and joined the Community Couples for Christ 2000 at the same year, 2010. Okay, magic. So this is our family. Again, I want to emphasize, we are under attack in all fronts. In all fronts. This one, the previous attacks, maybe you think it's too far or too not connected to you. Maybe you have nobody's experienced divorce, abortion, but this may be something that may connect to you. The modern family, the modern connected family. Now I ask you, are they really connected? The video you just saw is applicable, I think it's applicable not only for children. I think many of the wives would also complain. You're always on your phone. You're always on your phone. Daddy, I'm talking to you. You're always on your phone. So that video is not only applicable between a parent and a child. I think it's applicable between a parent and a husband and the wife. So what should we do? We are attacked at all fronts. Anywhere we go, there's attack one way or the other. Maybe the ugly war or the beautiful iPhones, Samsung Notes that we have that's creeping its way to our culture, to our way of handling the family. So what should we do? Or let me rephrase the question. Bro, if your family is under attack, what should you do? Yes, we have to protect our family. In order to, we have to protect them and attack back. We cannot just stay on the side and see this happening. This is real. These are all real. This is happening. We cannot just sit idle by and just let it happen. The Syrian war might not reach us here, but I'm sure the social media is already way deep in our life. When we wake up, phone first, Facebook status first. So how should we do it? How should we protect our family? First, we have to know what is God's purpose in marriage. Because before you become a family, you get married. In marriage is the beginning of your state of grace as a family. Many people are getting married, or no, I would like to say, many people are passing to get married in the church without realizing that by getting married in the church is the first time that you will be in the state of grace, that the blessings of the Lord will be upon you. So let's understand what is God's purpose in marriage. In the statistics, the divorce statistics in the US, we saw the second line, I think the second line or the third line, many couples are coming in, getting married without really understanding what is the institution of marriage. They get married because of feelings. I love her, she loves me. I like her, she likes me. Let's get married. Without even, some are getting married without even thinking or being open to the possibility of having a child. They don't have a clear idea what marriage is. Marriage is more than that. They give little thought to the nature of its institution, which is to have a child, to procreate. That's the institution of marriage. Marriage is not only for the companionship and mutual love of the spouse, but also for the procreation. That's the main purpose of marriage. Why we get married? According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, having a child is the crowning glory of a married life. It's the fruit of your love for each other. The very nature of the institution of marriage is procreation, 2 points. Procreation and education of the offspring. So now that we have defined what is the institution, what is married life, let's find out what is God's plan for the family. First is for the transmission of life. Transmission of life. Because of the family, life continues. Because of the family, we are able to connect from the source. The first time that God created Adam and Eve, when He pulled the mud, got the mud and fashioned it in His image and gave life. Adam and Eve. Because of the family, because of procreation, we are able to connect life. The family serves life. That's the very fundamental task of the family, to serve life. Because of the family, we're able to connect to the source. Because of the family, we're able to connect to Adam and Eve. If we don't procreate, we all die. This is what's happening now in Europe. Big countries, they're lessening their childbirth. They're dying. Their population is dying. Few years more, I don't know how they can connect to life. Because of the family, we're able to transmit the procreation, the divine image of our Lord. Male and female are able to multiply and fill the earth with life. Fill the earth with life. Not independent individuals producing babies. Take note here. Husband and wife raising a family. Raising a family, Not striking anywhere. You know what strike anywhere? I have a firstborn here, I have a firstborn there, I have a firstborn here. Firstborn anywhere. That's not procreation. That's not procreation. Procreation is a husband and wife raising a family. Not individuals striking anywhere. The family is where learning begins. It's where the first training happens. It's our solemn obligation as parents to be the teachers of our children. You see here, we are the first teachers of our children. Parents have the first responsibility of educating their children. I remember the story of my boss 4 years ago. We were having afternoon. In the afternoon, I visited him in the office. We were having some conversation, and he asked me, "John, does your children speak English or Filipino at home?" I told him, "They speak English. Though we teach them Tagalog and we try to speak to them in Thai, they prefer to speak English." Oh, really? Because I'm sending my daughter to an international school for 2 terms now, and bloody hell, I will spend $500,000, and when she gets home, she speaks Thai. My boss is Thai, but was raised in Australia, so his accent is really funny. And he said, "I spent almost more than $500,000. And yet, he speaks Thai." I asked him, "How do you speak with her at home?" "Of course, with the family, we speak Thai." That's it. Because you speak Thai. If you want your daughter to speak English, speak with her in English. You are the first teacher. The family is where we transmit wisdom and value, knowledge, judgment. All of this and wisdom are transferred from our parents to the children. I, for myself, I saw my father. He loves to tinker. You know Tinkerbell? Who knows Tinkerbell? He loves to build with his hands. He's a mechanical engineer by profession. He likes to work with his hands, to build with his hands. So seeing that and seeing his profession, I got it as well. So in my profession, I took up engineering. I also love to work with my hands. And now I see these same traits, these same values, same wants be on my children. I see my 2 kids here loves playing Lego. David loves doing crafts, DIY, you know. He loves to recycle. There's too much garbage at home, you know. I cannot throw it all. Because if he's telling us, "Daddy, I want to DIY, I want to recycle it." So the family is where this wisdom and values are transmitted from our parents to us, to our children. A leader receives basic training at home. Many say that leaders are born. But me and my wife believe that leaders are trained. And we make it a point to train our children young. We teach them to be honest in their dealings with their classmates, in their dealings with us, to be always truthful. We teach them to be confident, and at the same time, we teach them to be polite. Because especially my elder son here, Austin, he gets too confident that sometimes when he talks, even if he's talking to an adult, he talks like it's on the same level. The way that they speak, I think because they're not familiar with po and opo, although we try to push it, that they speak like it's their normal friend. So we teach them this, we start training at home. And for many, for those who have, I believe, for some of us who have already children who are grown up, it's not too late. Because one day, your children will become parents too. And you can still impart this knowledge to them. You can still teach them on how. So that when they become parents, they too will know how to handle. We're quite, the generation of today is quite lucky. Because the generation of today, we call learned parents. We observe what we had from our parents, but at the same time, we study as well. We have access to much education on parenting, on how to raise a family, and then we apply this. The church is a domestic home. The home is a domestic church. Long time ago, the church, what the church basically is a group of people who believes in God. That's the basic definition of a church. And the family, as it is, a group of believing people in God, is a small church, where the father is the priest. It's the father's duty to be the priest of the family. It's the father's duty to not only provide materially, but to provide for the spiritual need of the family. To teach them about the Bible, tell stories, teach the children, the young ones to pray. You may not teach them directly, but at least show to them that you are praying. And that way, children today are very fast learners. Without even teaching them, they observe you. They smell you. They know your fear. They can smell you if they can manipulate you. So you have to know how to show it to them. You are the priest of the family. It's your responsibility to provide their spiritual need. And like I said earlier, in the family is where the gospel is transmitted, where it comes to life. Yesterday, 2 nights ago, we were going through the slides. We were practicing with our kids, and I was happy because they were picking up. When I was just expecting them to look at the slides and just listen, but they have questions. They understood the slides. I was surprised that they were picking up with the slides. So it's where the family, where the gospel radiates, it comes to life. But sadly, God's plan is not happening. God's plan is not happening. Why? God is no longer the center of the family. Before, if you remember the first talk about the nuns, NONES, talk number 1 from Brother Jimmy. These are the millennials who are not against the church, but they're also not willing. It's just like, it's okay. They don't believe I cannot remember exactly if they believe in God, but it's just like, they don't care. They're not affiliated with any religion. Because there's no need. When we were in need, we focus on God. We ask for our provision for our children. a home where we could live, a car that we can use to go to work, to bring our children to places. But once we receive the blessings, we lose our focus. We focus on the blessing, not on the source, not on God. We focus on the material things. Before we were praying to God, God, please provide for our daily needs. We would like to send our children to school. We need a place where we could live. At least now the family is growing. We need a bigger place. We could not fit anymore in our studio type apartment. My kids are going far. We need to send them to school. And God answers. After God answers, the next prayer is, we no longer pray to God. Now that you have been leveled up, now you focus on the blessing. Instead of praying to God, now you're thinking, I want my next car to be a Lamborghini or a BMW or a Ferrari. I want to have a house up country in Chiang Mai and a one in Phuket, in Krabi. We're not focusing on the material things. We lose focus on God. God is no longer the center of the family. We focus too much on the material things. We lose focus in terms of disciplining our children. Many are looking into modern psychology. Nobody disciplines the child anymore. Some, you know the ADHD, attention deficiency, hyper. Yes. This one, I'm not against it, but there are many parents who, instead of disciplining their children, some of them may just have too much energy. Instead of disciplining the children, you know what they do? I saw them, they give medication. And their children just like, because the doctor said, oh, it's ADHD. But it's just energy. Sometimes it's just energy that is all pent up, cannot go anywhere. Especially if you're living in a condo or an apartment. Before you leave, they play around. They go out in the morning, they play. When they come back, they're tired. They have ways to spend their energy. But if you live in an apartment, how? How can you pull out all of this energy? The family is losing its importance. I remember when I was in high school and college. I come home, I eat, I sleep. The following day, I ask for allowance, I go. And on weekends, I go home almost midnight. The following day, eat breakfast, go out, stay with the friends, with the barkada. Many of the teenagers now, they see the family just a place to sleep and eat and get allowance. Some husbands who are so burdened with work, they're thinking their wife and their children is just a source of burden, financial obligation. Some wives who've been serving the family the whole day and not getting appreciated for the numerous hours of free labor, they're just thinking that I'm a slave to this household. The family has lost its importance. People come and go. The house is no longer a home. It's just a place where four corners. The family has lost its importance. Modern life has made it even more difficult. It's too fast. Life is too fast. And especially now, I want it now. Right? Instant gratification. You have your mobile phone, I want to eat. Order by line man, deliver. I want to buy, there's Lazada and Shopee. Instant. I want it now. And if it cannot come now, sorry, I look somewhere else. And it's happening in relationships. We could not work out a relationship. You see, one of the main concerns in divorce, right? They could not stand each other. I give up. It's broken, replace. It's cheaper. You buy a new one, your phone gets 2 years old, it gets broken. Will you replace it? Will you repair it? The cost of repair would be like 50% of the brand new. Oh, get the new one. Right? It's replacement. It's immediate replacement. There's no more opportunity to build lasting relationships. Because why? Because it takes effort. It takes hard work. And people just want, oh, I'm so much busy. I have so much things to do. I have so much demand at work, demand in service, demand here and there. Small problem, okay, keep it aside. The family is under attack by evil forces. Whether you like it or not, this is all orchestrated. In the Syrian war, children are losing families, physically losing them. And now, with the attack of the social media, you see the connected family. Are they really connected? They're sitting side by side with each other, but are they even looking at each other's eyes, giving smile to each other? So what can we do? At this point, I would like to give this part of the talk to my wife and my kids.
Good afternoon. I am blessed that I met John CLP like this during our SFC. And I could say that being active in the community as SFC before getting married is very helpful for us, as we both have same idea of what Christian family should be. As we received this talk, we both agreed and decided to try our best to raise our children in a Christ-centered family. We established family daily prayer time. We have weekly prayer and sharing night where our kids can pray with us, sing songs, and even say what they feel. We continuously teach them the value of prayer and its power. We also establish one-on-one dates with them. So normally we will go out like 1 hour with David, and then after an hour we will swap, and then I will have 1 hour with Austin, just to have a personal conversation with them. During this time, we normally ask what are the things that they are concerned about, what are the things that they think that we as parents have to improve, all the things that we somehow, if we hurt them, we say sorry, we ask for forgiveness from them. So, and it's really rewarding because you really get to know them. And also, to strengthen our married life, we also have our own date. May it be at home, may it be outside. But we try to find time to have at least, if not weekly, maybe at least once a month, that we will have a date as a husband and as a wife. We try also to train our kids. We train them to have books and toys when we go out, when we go to church, when we have family trips. We never made it a choice, or it's never in the choices that we give our mobile phones to them. It's always books, it's always toys. Whatever books, sometimes like David likes activity book, Austin likes reading. So we try to provide them that. It's difficult, but we really keep on trying. We also, at home, we also try to have a schedule on their TV time. We make it a point that their access to television and computer is not unlimited. We made it a point that they know that there's a limitation to it. Also, at home, we also teach them to be responsible. We teach them to be part of the family. As as we allow them to do some chores. Some of them, they don't like it. Some of them, they are excited to do it. Some of them, they think it's fun. But at least we give them chance and we try to allow them to do some chores at home. To share more about what we are trying to do, to apply what we learned from SFC days. I would like to give you Austin and David to tell you what are the things that we do in the family.
These are pictures captured from a video. These are pictures of our family during our weekly prayer and sharing nights. In the first picture, Daddy is reading and explaining the gospel for the day. And in the second picture, it is us practicing the song.
This is me finding a Bible verse in the Bible, and that's your Austin reading a book.
The boy in red is me cooking tuna patties, and the boy in white is David cooking rice. This is me and David praying for a taxi. We've been waiting for a taxi for a long time, so our mom asked us to pray, and a few seconds later, a taxi came.
That's me and my brother having a date where our parents are having That's me and my brother folding clothes, and the one in red is me writing the phone. The one in white is my brother vacuuming, and that's us counting our savings.
That's David and Daddy during their date, and this is me and Mommy during our dates.
That's me and my brother having a date. Now our parents is on the table having a date.
This is me and my brother with our friends. We are happy to be with each other during prayer meetings.
That's our mom and dad having a day at home. The book was my mom's present for my dad.
Thank you, Austin and David. I will continue with my sharing. So these are the things that we do at home. May not be that consistent, but we keep on trying to follow it. As a wife, I respect my husband as the head of the family and try my best in every way to support him. As couple, we have many differences. We came from different family upbringing. My way of supporting him sometimes is annoying or irritating for him. His expression of love sometimes is not the way I expect. For more than 9 years of marriage, I could say that our marriage was shaken countless times. In spite of our efforts to hide our arguments to our children, Still, there were times we received notes from our boys telling what they feel when we are here. We always receive memo. We strive our best to build a Christian family, so as the enemy is also at work destroying families. By attending teachings, we learn and we are reminded on what we should do to build a Christian family. It was a treasure and a challenge for us raising two strong-willed boys. It was difficult to be calm and be patient. It is hard to let go and not be so protective. There are many instances that we fail to model what we teach to our children. Sometimes we get tempted to just extend their TV time and computer time when we are so busy and we wanted to do and we have many things to do. Most of all, it's a struggle to speak with love in provoking situations. This is Austin's note to us when we shout at him. So they like giving me notes. But there were many instances that we failed. We really failed. We are sharing this to you, not to show that we are a perfect family. We are not. We are here testifying that in spite of the challenges, we are striving to be strong. We are striving to save families. Through the sharings and experiences of our fellow couples in the community, especially those who are older than us, we learn and we get some practical and tested tips on how to handle such difficult situations. The importance of the support of the brothers and sisters in the community. Brothers and sisters, building a Christian family requires vigilance. It is an everyday effort, an everyday decision. Because the enemy as well is making an effort to destroy it. It is not a coincidence that you are here today. It's just like us, like me and John, we are all called. We are all called to build a Christian family. There is no perfect family, but we can all be families striving to follow God's calling. Together, let us all respond to God's call to build a Christ-centered family. Let us all decide, start, try, persevere, and consistently ask God's guidance. Because without the Lord, no matter how much effort we put, we still cannot do it. With God's great love and grace, and our willingness to follow Him, we can save families. For this, may God be praised.
it truly takes effort. Thank you, my sister wife and my kids. Now to sum it up, what can we do? What should we do? We look at the Holy Family as our model. What they've been through. They all experience it. Just to share you some more pictures, I'm happy to share this one because this is a picture when we climbed a mountain in Wahim. In Google, they just told it's a mountain that you climb up. There was no other picture that. Normally when we go for adventure, from our experience, there are trails that you follow, cemented trails. This is Thailand. Everything is for the tourists. You go it easy. But this one, there's no trail. It was a real mountain where you climb with stones, with sharp stones, and we were happy because the kids, there were no complaints. They went up with us. This is our fellowship. So we don't only come here to the community to pray together, but we also have fellowship. This is our fellowship with Brother Ang and Sister Wen and their family. I think you know them. This is our household before. We have when we were household heads, our household in fellowship in Pattaya. And this is your leaders, your service team here. We visited an orphanage. So we have service in the community, not only here, but also outside. We extend the grace of God to our brothers and sisters outside the community. This is an orphanage, children with AIDS in Pattaya. So to sum it up, like my wife said, it's a constant decision. Make a decision. It's not one time. It's all the time. All the time when you are tempted to be lazy, when you're tempted to take the easy way out, make a decision and pray. Pray as an individual and pray with the family. As you pray, your children will learn early. Father, assume the full responsibility for material and spiritual needs. Learn more about God's plan from the teachings. This is what we showed you earlier. We have several activities in the community. Marriage enrichment retreat, we have the monthly assembly, the conferences, and then seek other Christian couples. If you talk with Christian couples, they would give you Christian advice. If you talk with couples when you are in problem, and you talk with other couples or friends outside the community, they will give you worldly advice. So seek couples who are within Christian couples. One word here I would like to emphasize in praying as a family, I would like to ask everyone, not just the participants, to be reminded to pray for intergenerational healing. Intergeneration. Because like what Princess said earlier, we come from different backgrounds. We have different expectations. We have different qualities of life. So when we come together, when all the honeymoon stage is gone, all of these things come together, it becomes a melting pot, It's really difficult because personal traits of your father that you didn't want will surface when you are hot-headed. Things that you don't want to do when you were young, you see it in your father doing it to your mother. I said, I don't want to be like him. Yes, on a normal basis like that. But when you lose your temper, you don't realize your father is coming out on you. What you don't want to be is exactly what you're becoming. So we need prayers of healing. We call it intergenerational healing. And most of all, even with all of this effort, all of this teaching, you cannot run the race alone. We cannot. We testify to that. We made so many ways to strengthen the family, prayer time, commitment, scheduling, one-on-one days. But we always fail. And why? Because we don't have the right attitude. 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 Because we didn't put God first. You have to ask God. You need to ask the power of the Holy Spirit. The power of the Holy Spirit is very strong and it will guide you. And with this, brothers and sisters, I encourage you to come for next week to learn how to receive this power, the power of the Holy Spirit. And for this, may God be praised.
Hopefully the other groups will start to join us soon. In the meantime, we can have an